Burpsuite can be used for brute forcing web applications as it's used to intercept, inspect, or even modify HTTP or HTTPS traffic. We can start by typing in Burpsuite and hit enter, and it will launch. I'm going to be using the community edition as this is the version that most people will be using, and it is free. We can use a temporary project and we can choose use burp defaults and click start burp. And here we are. You'll be greeted with this screen. Now you will need a proxy in order for this to intercept traffic. If you have one set up, you can skip to the timestamp in the video. If not, start by doing this. Click on Proxy, Options, and this is the information here that we need in order for Burpsuite to listen and intercept HTTP traffic. Let's go out to the web here and type in FoxyProxy. This is a phenomenal add-on that I recommend getting that's used as a proxy, and it's very easy to switch it on and off. We're going to click add and okay, I got it. Next, it will pop up right at the top here. Currently it says disabled. We're going to go to options, click on add, and we're going to type a title. I'm going to put mine as Burpsuite. Traffic type is HTTP. We're going to put the IP address in here, so 127.0.0.1, and the port is 8080. Username, password, we can leave the same. We can click save. Now that that's set up, we can easily turn it on and off simply with a click of a button. Next, go to the page that you're looking to brute force. I'm going to be using one on HacktheBox. We're going to turn on our proxy simply like that, and you'll see burp come up at the side there. Next, we're going to go to Burpsuite, click on Intercept, and make sure Intercept is on so it's able to capture the request. However, we want to be able to capture the request for the username and password. So for now, let's type in any username and password. I'm going to type in admin1234, and we're going to see how Burpsuite captures this request and how it looks like. Now we can hit login. Here's the results of the interception. Now you might see that the page is not loading, and that's normal. That's because Burpsuite is intercepting the communication to the web server. So the web server can't receive the information yet. This is where we can look to alter things. Here we can see that it has a post request. A post simply means information that's being sent to the web server. So we can see number one, it shows us the browser that we're using. It shows us the language, but even more important, it shows us a cookie session ID. This can be used in some attacks. However, the big one that we want to take notice of is the username, admin, and password 1234. So these credentials are being sent to the web server. Now, we want to launch an attack, specifically a brute force attack on these credentials. In order to do that, we need to use the Intruder in Burpsuite. We can right click this and click Send to Intruder right here. And you'll notice that this highlights orange, and we can now click on this. It should auto-populate the host name that you're looking to attack, as well as the designated port. Next, let's click on positions. The payload positions simply denotes where the brute force wordless will insert its words. So it's wherever or whatever you're trying to brute force. We're going to click clear. So this is the same post request that we had seen. And for the username, we can look to brute force this, and we can do that by highlighting and click add. And same thing with the password. Now, if you're only going to brute force the password, you can do that and highlight just the one. Now there's one huge thing that needs to be covered, and that's the attack types. Let's go through them. Number one, sniper. This uses only one single payload or wordless set and replaces and or brute forces one single position at a time. Pretty straightforward. This is the most effective when you're doing fuzzing, specifically when finding SQL injections or cross-site scripting. Number two, Battering Ram. Similarly to the sniper, it uses only one single payload or wordless set. However, it will replace all positions with the same payload. So wherever you've clicked the add to add these payload positions, the same words will populate in all those places. Meaning that if I had two words in my word list, admin and cyber, the username would be admin and the password would be admin, or the username would be cyber and the password would be cyber. This attack works best when you're attacking a target where it requires input to be inserted in multiple places. Number 3, Pitchfork. Pitchfork uses multiple payloads or word lists for each position specified, meaning we can have a payload for the usernames and we can have a separate payload for the passwords. The one thing to keep in mind with this is it will not go through every possible combination. The first line in the username will match up with the first line in the password. The second line in the username will match up with the second line in the password, and it will go down the list accordingly, meaning if you had 100 words as the username word list and 100 words in the password word list, there will only be a total of 100 entries. Number 4, Clusterbomb. This is the exact same as Pitchfork, however, it will go through every single possible combination. If you had 100 words in the word list for username and 100 words for the word list and password, it will go through a total of 10,000 entries or attempts for the brute force. This is the one that we're going to be using. We can select Clusterbomb here, and because we have 2 payload positions selected, it'll allow us to upload 2 separate payloads. So we can click the tab and you can see payload 1 and 2, and the payload type is really up to you and what you want to choose. However, I'm going to be using a simple list. So payload 1 will denote the username that we're looking for. I'm going to type in admin. I'm just going to be running it on admin, but you can really run whatever you want. You could type in user or even someone's name or anything that you enumerated that you think the login name might be, or you can just upload a list. And number 2 is I'm going to add in a password list now. So I'm going to actually load a small one. And if you do have issues with this loading, keep in mind that if the list is too large, it might not load onto Burpsuite. So keep the list a bit smaller if you can. Now let's turn this proxy off. And what we're going to do is we can hit start attack. Here are the scan results. Now I only scanned a few words because I was having connection issues with HacktheBox. Either way, these are 2 things you're going to look out for: the status and the length. Whenever you see a different status code, this can indicate that we have the correct password. The reason being is because the status code 302 denotes a page redirection. So that means a page could have loaded and taken us into the web server. And another thing is the length. The change in length pretty much denotes the bytes of data that are on the page. So if you see a difference in length, it can signify a correct password. Let's try out this password here, admin NIBBLES. And here we are. We have successfully made it onto the page and have brute forced the password. Thank you for watching. The contents of this video is for educational and ethical purposes only. I do not promote the use of any illegal activity. Do not perform any of these actions in this video without permission.